So day 2 of the DNC happened last night, and it was no short of an absolute cringe fest, riddled with lies, scams, and bizarre behavior. So we'll get straight into the meat of it. First, we have the biggest hypocrite, Michelle Obama, who was trying to do a relatable story on growing up poor, but ended up failing miserably.
She and my father didn't aspire to be wealthy. In fact, they were suspicious of folks who took more than they needed. They understood that it wasn't enough for their kids to thrive if everyone else around us was drowning. So my mother volunteered at the local school.
So she lives in a nearly all-white neighborhood with a house worth tens of millions of dollars and is worth a staggering $160 million. So should we be suspicious of her? Then she talks about how there's hope in the air, even though 12 out of the past 16 years were Obama policies.
You know, we're feeling it here in this arena, but it's spreading all across this country we love. A familiar feeling that's been buried too deep for far too long. You know what I'm talking about. It's the contagious power of hope.
I could have sworn Biden has been in office for nearly 4 years, or did I miss it? Now we turn towards an angry Barack Obama who is absolutely obsessed with Trump.
Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. It has been a constant stream of gripes and grievances that's actually been getting worse now that he's afraid of losing to Kamala. There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes. The other day I heard someone compare Trump to the neighbor who keeps running his leaf blower outside your window every minute of every day. Now, from a neighbor, that's exhausting. From a president, it's just dangerous.
Okay, the crowd size joke was a good line from a comedic standpoint, but let's be honest, the only reason it gets mentioned is because the media always hides the size of Kamala's rallies whenever she's doing them, unless they have like a rapper there, and hides Trump's because his are too big. But notice how the complaints about Trump are only personal attacks, nothing to do with policy. But let's take a listen to Bernie Sanders dissing everyone in the DNC. This is one of the best moments.
At the very top of that to-do list is the need to get big money out of our political process. Billionaires in both parties should not be able to buy elections, including primary elections.
Fair enough. As much as I love seeing two squad members lose their primaries, it wasn't because no one liked them, which is true. It was the fact that pro-Israel PACs spent millions of dollars on attack ads. Which, is that the fairest way to win an election? Then Tim Walz takes the stage, and ever notice his mannerisms? I'm not using the term weird to get back at him calling JD weird. I'm using that word because every time he walks out, it's just weird. I don't want to accuse him of being gay because that'd be immature, but I mean, he shook his wife's hand at one of Kamala's rallies, so my eyebrows have been raised at it. While we're on the topic of weird, it wouldn't be a DNC without something to do with pronouns and the ABCD community.
My name is Dr. Joey Perella, pronouns she, her, hers. I'm a proud resident of the Garden State. I'm proud to stand with Kamala Harris and Tim Walz because they stand with the LGBTQ community. It's time to turn the page on Trump. Thank you.
It's time to turn the page on Trump, and thank you. Yeah, I don't know what he's on about. Also, that dress isn't fooling anyone. You can dress up as a woman all you want and try to copy a woman's mannerisms, mock them, but you'll never be what you want to be.
My name's Governor Gavin Newsom from the great state of Nancy Pelosi.
The great state of Nancy Pelosi? Run and run fast. No thank you, I'm busy. Now we turn to the funniest moment of the night where Matt Walsh was spotted dressed as a Democrat, still to this day trying to understand why being white is racist. That might be the spookiest costume of all this Halloween, dressing up as a Kamala supporter.
It's done. One of the things she pushed, which we succeeded in, was $35 insulin for senior citizens. Now we're going to get it for everybody.
What's your response when Trump takes credit of that?
Trump takes credit for so many things he doesn't do. and gets the blame for a lot of things he does do. He's lost his bearings, as we can see day by day.
And now we have CNN doing actual journalism exposing Tim Walz for making the false claim that his family used IVF when they used something else. I know, I'm just as surprised as you.
Vice President Harris's running mate Tim Walz is tomorrow night. The campaign is having to clean up some comments he's made about one of the campaign signature issues having to do with reproductive rights. This is what Governor Walz said on MSNBC while criticizing J.D. Vance. Take a listen.
J.D. Vance knows nothing about that, and then he keeps going into all of these things. Today's IVF day. Thank God for IVF. My wife and I have 2 beautiful children.
Now, that's not accurate, right? I mean, it wasn't IVF. It was a different procedure, and his wife, Gwen Walz, the First Lady of Minnesota, is taking care to tell CNN that they actually used a procedure called intrauterine insemination. IUI. It's a process she described as an incredibly personal and difficult experience. They did use fertility treatments. It wasn't IVF.
I think it's amazing how one man can lie so much about his life to try to get people to vote for him. Obviously, that's not nearly as bad as him making the claim he used weapons in war when he didn't go to war, or he was deployed to Afghanistan when he just went to Italy, or he retired as a command sergeant major even though he didn't complete the academy or the terms of service required to retire as that rank. But CNN's truth streak didn't stop there. Watch a panelist admit the truth about Obama policies.
In all these speeches, as good as they were, is that she's in the White House right now. Democrats have controlled the White House for 12 of the last 16 years. And for all of the talk about division and the problems in the country and people are hurting, Democrats have mostly controlled this country. Trump had it for 4. The Obamas and Biden had it for the rest of the time. And somehow, it's still all Trump's fault, and somehow she hasn't been at the center of it. So to me, that's still the glaring hole in this campaign that hasn't yet been solved at the convention. How do you explain all of the problems that will be solved by the person who is currently in there for the last 3.5 years, who is supposed to already be working on solving it?
That woman was like, shut up, stop telling the truth. But I have good news for everybody. Trump's prediction to win on Polymarket has jumped back in his favor. And to wrap this video up, let's turn towards Fox News. A Democrat was on and destroyed his own party. Democrat Chicago City Council member Raymond Lopez admitted Democrats are not interested in policies that average Americans care about.
Democrats winning any new voters at this convention?
I highly doubt it. I think this is all playing to their own base, not trying to recruit new people, because clearly the Democratic Party, my party, is not interested in talking about what matters. How are you going to keep people safe? How are you going to secure the border? And how are you going to deal with the 8 million undocumented individuals that they let in under Kamala Harris's lead?